Okay, it's another show, and here we are again. This time, we're doing a wrap up on our first week. So, and it's very confusing, I know, at times, especially since this show is about the 3A-2A, which is actually their second week because they have week 0. So it kind
Yeah.
of confuses people. But this is actually the first week that all the teams are done. So this is actually week 1. So I'm rocking my Tombstone shirt. Unfortunately, we heard, as we said and mentioned on the last show, that Tombstone will no longer be having a season. But I figured I will rock it in honor for Tombstone tonight or today, and kind of get that out there. Me and you, we got to go to an exciting game this week, and though it wasn't a 2A 3A game, we'll talk about it, I think, a little bit more on the next show on
Yeah.
the 654 game or show. So yeah, but we did get to go over and we got to check out Mountain View versus Tucson High. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about that, make sure you check the other show. Anything that popped out of you on this one, or are we going to just kind of jump right into the scores here, or where are you
You
going?
know what? Well, I think we'll save it for the next one. Kind of leave all the hype for when we cover 5A and 4A. But either way, like that was definite fireworks. So if you didn't get to watch that game, you need to see somehow to check it out on your Chris's YouTube
Yeah, you
page
go
or Facebook. Excuse me.
Facebook page. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, I'm ready. I'm glad another week down. Some fun 3A 2A matchup. So we'll see how the
Right.
results played out.
And this time, guys, we're always trying to make our show a little bit better and so on. And this time, we're going to run the scores with the score leaders or the stat leaders there for the games. We'll be mentioning those during this. My man Daniel has put in a lot of work on this. Then we'll after that we'll hit up our the players of both divisions, and then we'll go over the stat leaders for all of 3A 2A. So going to kind of break this down a little bit differently, but we're going to jump right into this. So, oops, jumped into the wrong one, but that's okay. So, this game here, we're going to start off here with Chinle versus Coolidge. Came down to a 0-34. Really, no information here. No stats. No nothing really provided. Go ahead and tell me something about it, though.
You know what? Coolidge finally snapped a losing streak. I think that their first win since 2023 after going 0-10. After last week, seeing the improvements from them against Santa Cruz Valley, I thought this was a great opportunity for them to pick up a win. Didn't expect a shutout, but I mean, kudos to them for doing so. So hopefully that continues to help develop this program and be able to have some success next week.
We'd really love the coaches here, either our home teams or both teams or whatever the case is, to enter some stats and stuff, so we could give some love to some of these kids. The next game that we got here is Round Valley versus Florence. Round Valley goes 2-0, where the Gophers are actually winding up 0-2. Go ahead and drop some knowledge on this one.
Oh no, as you can see, pretty much it was one-sided with Round Valley. Cade Finch, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air. Brody Crick, 12 carries, 115 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then Jackson Crick, maybe brothers, cousins there, 10 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks. So not only were they doing it on the offensive end, defense was making things tough for Florence. And we talked about Florence. If they were to drop these opening games, it wasn't going to get any easier for them throughout the rest of their schedule. So sitting 0-2 in probably one of the toughest regions in the 3A East, it's going to be hard to come back from. But I just want to see some progression for Florence. As I always talk about, Zayden Cundiff, he's consistent on the defensive end. Is 14 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and his own fumble recovery there. So I just think it's just going to have to depend on the offensive side of the ball to get some points through there.
People are just going to have to chime into our prediction show to see which way we pick and see how they go this week. The next game here, we have Pusch Ridge versus ALA Ironwood. Looks like Pusch Ridge takes the win here, 41-14. The Lions go 2-0, where the
Mhm.
Warriors fall into an 0-2 predicament. What do you think on this one?
You know what? I thought Push Ridge had a good opportunity to win this ball game. Didn't expect such a drastic change as far as the score goes. But as you can see, they gave Castaneda some trouble. He threw 4 interceptions on the day. So definitely keeping the ball secured is probably the game plan going forward for ALA Ironwood. But I mean, MJ Buckner, 253 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then if you look at Nakampa and Dominic Painter, both receivers had touchdowns and over 100 yards receiving. So everything was going right through the air for Push Ridge, which makes sense as to why it was such a big win as far as the margin goes.
Pusch Ridge is looking great kicking off the start of the year. ALA will hopefully get, since they've had a real tough two first games. We'll see where they go after this. Next game that we got here is Gilbert Christian versus Sabino. Gilbert Christian pulls, obviously, we were all hoping for Sabino come through on this one. They fall a little bit short, 28-20, where the Knights go 2-0 and the Sabercats fall to an 0-2, but kind of a little bit misleading. But give us some of the stat leaders and whatnot from that game.
Bodie Sanford for the Sabercats, 22 for 33, 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as receiver Adrian Tellez, 9 receptions, 130 yards and 1 touchdown. I think the probably where the gap was maybe on the ground where Javion Winton was the leading rusher with 10 carries for 33 yards, but was able to pick up a touchdown. So as I was looking at this one, I think it kind of just boiled down to whoever protected the ball the best. There was turnovers on both sides for both teams. So I think when it came down to it, whoever had the ball last and could protect the ball a little bit better ended up becoming the winner. So that was in favor of Gilbert Christian. But as we said, Sabino doesn't look like an 0-2 team to me. I think next week, hopefully, they'll be able to put a W in the win column there.
Yeah, don't sleep on Sabino, even though their start is a little slow here, but they're battling in all these matches right now. Next game that we got coming up here is actually Blue Ridge versus Safford. It looks like the Blue Ridge Jack or the Yellow Jackets jump up into obviously season 2-0. They've been looking pretty good. Where the Safford, even though they're a 3A team playing here, it looks like they've been struggling a little bit. Their loss comes at a 30-14. Go ahead and unfortunately, our Safford program isn't putting in stats. We want them to put them in so we can show some love to those kids. But go ahead and touch real quick base on this one if you would.
Oh yeah, this one is just basically going to be a rushing attack for Blue Ridge. As you see, all three players that we had there for stats were in the running department. So you had Brecken Sarkett, 19 carries, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tanque Hamlin also had 2 touchdowns, just 6 yards shy of 100. And then Carter McGowan, 11 carries, 89 yards. No touchdowns, but was averaging 8.1 yards per carry. So it just goes to show how dominant Blue Ridge was on the ground. I mean, just there between those three, I think total they were pushing close to 400 yards rushing. So that didn't even really need a air attack to help them because they secured it on the ground.
Yeah, and we'd like once again, we'd love to see what Safford did. Hopefully, we can get somebody out there to help post up some stats. The next game that we got here is Tan Foothills versus Dysart. It really wasn't much of a game here. It kind of looks like a little
No.
blowout. Not, and then another thing that we're seeing here is the Sabercats, one of our programs here, once again not putting in stats, so we can kind of honor at least the successes of the game. But this was a blowout, 40-0. It looks like Sabercats fall to an 0-2 season where the Demons jump up to a 1-1. Go ahead and run through those ones real quick if you want to.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tough for Santan Foothills going forward. They did pretty well against Dysart last year, so was pretty surprising to see that they got shut out here. But Javon Christmas, 13 carries, 194 yards, leading rusher for the Demons, and then Josiah Laborn. him and Donovan Hinchy connected for all of LeBourne's passes here as he went 6 for 10, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then Hinchy 6 receptions, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it was just a one-man show out there in the receiving corps, but all three contributing to a dominant win for Dysart.
Can we say the quarterback's got my eye on you?
Yeah.
It's pretty much that's what that is. Next game coming up here, obviously our Thatcher Eagles coming in. They go 2-0 over the Apache Junction Prospectors. This one here, another blowout. I think one of us even had this as one of our lock games. But I mean, Thatcher always has some of those amazing players up there. Run those ones down for us if you would.
You know what? It was actually not the most surprising stats when it came to Thatcher. You see the win there. I'm sure they had a lot of players at one point playing, getting some playing time, second string, third string, probably. So these were your leading rushers. Ryan Jones, 4 carries for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. Chad Johnson, 2 carries, 53 yards and 1 touchdown. And Tufton Taylor, 2 carries, 49 yards and 1 touchdown. So it seems like a lot of their plays were going for touchdowns. It didn't take a long drive in order to get in the end zone. So I think that's why you kind of see the stats a little bit lower when it comes to yardage and carries. But overall, it's just another dominant win for Thatcher. And this is the team that everybody got to start keeping your eye on in that 3A East, especially when it starts becoming, region time. So it's going to be a tough one for anybody playing Thatcher.
It seems like, and I know we kind of went back to the mainstream here. It seems like 3A has definitely got some fighting contenders. We always see that. Obviously, we see Pusch Ridge is dominant. They're doing really well, as well as Thatcher. Sabino, obviously, we know, even though they're not looking like the team that we were kind of hoping, they're a little behind, but they're in both those games that they've had so far this year. Tan Foothills is kind of struggling. It's great to see Coolidge kind of jumping out there, kind of getting their things going and their foundation thrown down on them as well. Anybody out like a little hard and harsh on the Florence, trying to get that with the new coach and everything as well. Any other teams here in the 3A that you kind of see things that they're kind of odd to you, or?
You know what? I don't think so. I think it's all kind of where I
Kind of
expected
predicted
as
them.
far as far as this region. If I were to like kind of try to break down the other regions out there, I mean, we can probably be talking about some things because Chrisman, I mean, they took Eastmark down to the wire 22-24. Definitely wasn't expecting that. So could that be a team that is going to start getting into this hunt? Gilbert Christian, I expected them to be good. Did I expect them to be this great? Not exactly. So got to definitely keep your eye on some of these teams in that 3A Metro because there is a stacked region there. We talked about Valley Christian last week. ALA Ironwood, I don't think they're going to stay winless for much longer. So, and then you got Ben Franklin out there who can definitely ruffle some feathers out there, depending on how they're playing.
Yeah.
So,
Some good games actually coming up this week. So once again, make sure you tune in to our show where we do get to do the predictions. That'll be interesting to see. And let's jump into these 2A final scores. This one here, actually, we got Bisbee over Cortez. It looks like Bisbee kind of breaks the losing streak from at the beginning of the year. That unfortunate loss for them against Benson. They take it 26-20 against Cortez. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more out of the score on this one here. It's interesting. Bisbee's got Douglas coming up, but go ahead and give us some love on some of these stat leaders that popped up at you.
Oh, yeah. Tristan Meyer, 11 for 16, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Fabian Hernandez, 13 carries, 160 yards. He averaged 12.3 yards per carry. So definitely moving the chains. If you do the math, that's a first down almost every rush that he's averaging there. And then Myers' favorite receiver of the night, Cameron Anderson, 6 reception, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown. So the three probably contributing factors to this team winning the ball game, especially how close it was.
We'll see if Bisbee's ready for the pick when they go and they play Douglas next week.
Yeah.
Or this week, actually. So next game here, Palo Verde versus ALA Anthem South. What Chris predicted this one right. Let's go. I got this one 28-14. The Titans go 1-1, leaving the other Titans at an 0-2 situation. So the battle of the Titans. Did you even recognize that?
Yeah, when I put it in.
Well, guess what, guys? At least these are all putting in their stats. So go ahead and tell me something about these stats anyways.
All right. So let's start with the winners, Palo Verde. Isaac. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his last name because I might butcher it, but as you can see, 19 carries, 141 yards, and 3 touchdowns. A big night on the ground for Isaac. Jackson Tyson, 9 carries, 68 yards, 1 touchdown. And let's move to the defensive side. Jacome, I'm not going to pronounce that last name either because, like I said, I'm not trying to butcher names here. 8 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 sack. So big game on the defensive side of the ball. When you take a look at ALA Anthem South, I think the most telling thing here is the play of the quarterback, Brady rushing 6 for 19, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So not a lot of passes completed there, especially for a team that tries to air out the ball. Diego Godinez, 8 carries, 94 yards, 11.8 yards per carry. And Gabriel Fatu, 2 receptions, 71 yards, and 1 of the 2 touchdowns from rushing on the night. Definitely a close matchup. And, kudos to Palo Verde because this is one of those wins that can start helping the program here. So,
yeah, that's good. And I don't think you pronounce the ends. So in those names, I think one's like a Datamani. I don't know the other one at all. So, I mean, maybe I'm far off, but I slaughtered it for you. I did it. I sacrificed it for you.
Like I said, I'm not trying to sit here and mess anything up here. Yeah, I'm not butchering up.
The next game here, the Eagles, Santa Rita Eagles, take a big loss. They're second so far this year. They go 0-64 against those Miami Mountain 3A, or actually 2A. Is it 2A Mountain? Is that what they are, right?
Miami's 2A, yeah.
Yeah, 2A Mountain. And you know what? Obviously, but the thing I will say this is hands down, Santa Rita is putting in their stats. We appreciate that. So go ahead and run some love for them if you would.
Nothing on Miami side, as you can see, even though having a big victory there. But let's start with Santa Rita with Jace Osborne. Probably not the best day for him. 3 for 11, 44 yards, 2 interceptions. But Omar Wright, 6 receptions, 71 yards, 11.8 yards per reception. Also did it on the ground with 4 carries, 30 yards, and 7.5 yards per carry. So as far as Santa Rita goes, I know they played multiple quarterbacks. So there's some other stats to kind of look out there. But I think at the end of the day, putting in your stats, big thank you to them. But I think for them, it's going to just be going forward and trying to find some wins when it comes to these matchups. Any takeaway is a positive for a team like Santa Rita. So I hope that they continue to ride out this season, no matter which way it goes.
We got Tanque Verde versus Morenci. I think we actually predicted this one wrong, so we get booed, right?
Oh yeah.
So
after last week,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say after last week against Phoenix Christian, I was like, oh man, maybe they couldn't do it.
Doubtful Debbie's, but we got slapped in the face because Tanque Verde came off with a win. They go 1-1, 24-16 over the Morenci Wildcats. And go ahead and tell us something about Tanque Verde, if you would.
Hey, how about Rocco Haggard, man? 9 for 18, 134 or 35 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Aiden Cooper doing it at the receiver position, 6 receptions, 71 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And another defensive guy, Nixon Hill, 7 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and one forced fumble. Maybe that could have been the game changer there, that forced fumble for Tanque Verde. But either way, a big win over Morenci, especially since Morenci picked up that win against Safford. I think that this will definitely help Tanque Verde as far as what's to come in their season.
Yeah, our shame is a shame. we got burnt on that one.
Oh yeah.
Next game here, the Benson Bobcats. I know I'm screaming for Bobcats, but guess what? My Bobcats kind of came a little bit short. They went 14-49 as the Bobcats fall to 1-1, where the Phoenix Christians, who've actually had their way with Southern Arizona right now, they're 2-0. If you want to go ahead and run down some of the stats from this game.
Oh yeah, let's start off with Phoenix Christian. Zion Rundon, 17 carries, 166 yards, 1 touchdown. Aaron Witten, 21 carries, 101 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And another, I like shouting out the defensive guys sometimes because they don't get too much love, So Cassidy Kovac, 6 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. So he was definitely making things tough for Dawson Judd. But we'll jump over to him, 15 for 21, 198 yards, and 1 touchdown. Jason Santo, 6 carries, 78 yards, averaging 13 yards per carry. And then Andrew Workman, another defensive guy, 12 tackles. How about 10 of them by himself? 10 solo tackles on the night. But at the end of the day, I think we kind of found out what Phoenix Christian really is here in 2A. I mean, somebody's going to have to compete with Santan Charter, Scottsdale Christian. Hopefully Benson's able to rebound here and still keep improving. I'm expecting big things for him for the remainder of the season, but definitely got to look out for a team like Phoenix Christian later on down the road.
Yeah, and the next game here, game 2, comes for the newcomers of Desert Christian, but they fall short on this one, losing to Heritage Academy 24-12. Heritage Academy goes 2-0. Close game. I mean, it's still in there, but I mean, obviously, Desert Christian falls a little behind. We'll see probably where they rank after this. But go ahead and give us a heads up on some of the power here.
You know what? I was actually shocked for how close this matchup was. I thought Heritage Academy would have ran away with it, but Desert Christian held their own, coming up a little bit short. But how about Casey Mosby for Heritage Academy? 15 for 28, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Nicholas Artiga had 9 carries for 75 yards, averaging 8.3 yards per carry. And then Kalen Williams, a big target for Mosby, 9 receptions, 90 yards for 1 touchdown. But let's look over at Desert Christian. Brock Payne had himself a really good game, 17 for 22, 209 yards, 1 touchdown, did have the 2 interceptions. So that's the difference probably there in a matchup this close. Kyron Gehring, 5 receptions, 73 yards, and 14.9 yards per reception. How about another defensive guy, Luke Gorman, 6 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 3 big sacks on the Heroes. So some pretty good stat lines for Desert Christian. Even though they picked up the loss, I think this is a team that's going to really surprise some people down the road.
I know you love your linebackers and your defensive guys. So
I do, man. They don't get the love. I wish I had the pancakes for the offensive line, but maybe one day.
Next game up here is Globe versus the Santa Cruz Valley Dust Devils. Looks like the Dust Devils are going 2-0 right now. They're undefeated. Yeah. So those guys from Eloy are telling people right now, hey, don't sleep on Eloy as they go ahead and defeat the Globe Tigers 14-34. Go ahead and share some love on this one.
Oh, well, you know what? This one was actually, even though Santa Cruz Valley ran away with it, there was a time Globe was winning, especially at halftime. I believe it was 14-12. Second half, I don't know what it is about Santa Cruz Valley there. Defense steps it up. The offense gets going, so they shut out Globe for the second half. But let's go over to Santa Cruz Valley. Richard Chico Reyes, 18 for 23, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Diego Ibarra, 14 carries, 178 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Daniel Contreras, he was Richard's favorite target there, 12 receptions, 168 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So that when that offense can get going, they can be very scary for Santa Cruz Valley. Definitely for sure. If you jump over to the Globe Tigers, it was pretty much Jaeger Franco, 17 for 29, 149 yards through the air, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Led the team in rushing, 8 carries, 28 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then Grayson Kruger, 9 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 sack on the night.
All right. And our last game, Willcox versus Arizona Lutheran. I kind of thought this was going to be a little bit closer or more of a match. It looks like the Willcox Cowboys fall a little bit short to AZ Lutheran Coyotes. And once again, it's unfortunate that we couldn't give a little love and shout outs to our Willcox Cowboys. The stats weren't placed, but go ahead and give us a little love on what AZ Lutheran posted up.
You know what? You have Sebi Guy, 22 carries, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Liam Enter was doing it on the offense and defensive side. He had 17 carries, 137 yards, and 1 touchdown, as well as 13 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and one and a half sacks on the night. So definitely getting it done on the ground for Arizona Lutheran. And then Liam Enter making things hard for Willcox there.
Oh, back on this, it looks like once again, like that was the wrap up for our 2A game scores. It's being exciting. We got a lot of close games and everything going on. We got a lot of here and there upsets. Teams that we probably predicted to go one way actually went the other. But you know what? We're gonna get ready to do our second show coming up here, which is gonna be obviously the 654 cover, so make sure you wait and see that. But we are going to also tell you about our players of the week here at 3-2, and also make sure you also see the other show that's coming up shortly as well, where we break down what we predict is going to be the winners for this next week. And since we're adjusting a little bit, you never know who we might pick, so it could be an interesting one.
Week by week.
Right? So the player of the week for 3A, we got your guy. Go ahead. Actually, I mean, you're the one who set these all up, so I want to spotlight on my man, Big Daddy. Go ahead.
Oh man, so Bodie Sanford, even though Sabino did not pick up the win, I think he is starting to settle in, as far as running this offense. Had a huge night for the sophomore quarterback. Recap his stats: 22 for 33, 272 yards, and 2 touchdowns on just shy of 67% completion percentage. Currently, with his stats, he ranks 7th in Arizona in passing yards, 14th in total yards, and it ranks 3rd in 3A in passing yards. So I think, as far as Bodie is concerned, one of the big things out there is Sabino quarterbacks. We've talked about plenty of them over the years, but I think he got another couple years under his belt and is going to be shining for that offense for weeks on end.
Yeah. So this is it, Bodie. Go ahead and keep doing your thing, man. Move that direction, move up that ladder. The one thing that does help them out also as well when you look at the whole state rankings is that they do have a week ahead of the 654s. Here is actually, and unfortunately we didn't have a picture for Mr. Daniel Contreras. Go ahead and give us a little breakdown on your why you picked this guy.
You know what? I think Loopy and I were talking at the beginning of the week on our podcast show that if Chico Reyes and Daniel Contreras connected, it was going to be for some big yardage this past week, and he did nothing shy of that. 12 receptions, 168 yards, 14 yards per reception to go along with 3 big touchdowns. He's ranked 3rd in the 2A South in receiving yards and is leading his team in reception, receiving yards, and touchdowns. I think he could be ranked a lot higher, but I don't believe any of the stats have been put in for week 1 against Coolidge. So maybe coming into next week, if Santa Cruz gets those stats in, you might see him jump up as far as the rankings are concerned.
And actually looking at all our stat leaders, this is a combination of all the teams that we pretty much just looked at. And right here, passing stat leaders, you got Dawson Judge coming in number one. Bodie, I apologize, I said Buddha. Bodie Sanford, the one you actually picked as your player of the week here. Actually, it's funny. The number one and number two have been your two picks so far. So, and then Brock Payne coming in, obviously, from Desert Christian. So, once again, if the stats were entered, maybe this could alter a little bit. But those are your three top passing leaders right there. The next one here is actually going to be our 2A, 3A rushing stat leaders. We got for Fabian Hernandez coming from Bisbee. He's going to fall into the number one spot at 176. Number two is going to be Diego Ibarra. He's coming out from Santa Cruz Valley. We were just talking about him. Those stats could actually go up if there's something that they're missing, like you're mentioning, at 157. And then Isaac Daramane.
In the Tamana? I'm going to attempt it.
Okay, now you're jumping in, huh? From Palo Verde, wow, got 151. So he takes that third spot. As we jump into the receivers, our number one receiver coming out of Pusch Ridge, Dominique Painter, remains up there at the top and starting to kill, like kind of just spread it. He's at 275. The next one underneath him at 161 is Jason Santo coming from Benson. And then you have 148, Cameron Anderson coming from Bisbee. So a lot of running on here, but it's a little tight for that number three spot. If you look at there, it's kind of close. So who'll be number three next week? Y'all have to tune in and check that out. When it comes down to our tackling leaders, you talked about this one earlier from Florence. Pretty much the shining star right now for them, Zayden Kunda. 28 tackles. You got 23 tackles coming from Brock Payne, Desert Christian. And then once again, Isaac jumps on here from Palo Verde. He's at 21. So he's got two seats here up at the top three. So, hey, big shout outs to Isaac for doing what he's doing. But other than that, I mean, hey, that's a wrap up for this week. It was fun, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And thank you for putting in all that effort and shining a light on a lot of the kids and those stat leaders. I know, obviously, people don't know how much work we put on this sometimes. So, yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, no, you put it in. I'll kind of look it over. So, that's just more reason for those coaches to keep entering them every week. But
yeah, coaches, we do appreciate all the love that you show your teams and those kids. That way we can shine the spotlight on them. So we appreciate it a lot. But other than that, that's pretty much a wrap up on the wrap up show, huh?
Oh, yeah. Stay tuned for 6A, 5A, 4A. It's going to be, a good one. There's some good matchups there as well. And, if you haven't already, please like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube page, Instagram, Facebook, X. Am I leaving any of our other platforms out there? Just
find us.
Yeah, just set the alerts on once you follow, because definitely we got things moving every week, and can't wait to get out on Friday as well.
Hey, and you know what? Hit my guy up, Daniel. He needs some shirts. We need to get Daniel some team shirts. Get him out there.
I'll take them.
Hey, we'll rock them on the show and give you guys shout outs for doing so. Other than that, we're good. Yo, hey, and get those sit back chairs. I'll tell you what. We rocked them. We did good.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, we're out of here.
Meet SitBax Bleacher Seat, the first comfy stadium seat. I'm a parent with kids in sports. I've lived on the bleachers and tried countless stadium seats. I found light seats, foldable seats, hot seats, this seat. I couldn't find a comfy seat, so I made my own. First, it has a tall back with lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck support. It's lined in thick, full-body contoured padding, complete with a head pillow and optimal height armrests with cushions. It has a breathable mesh back, L-shaped folding arms, and its angular design frames your body so it won't block anyone's view. Compact, lightweight, and portable is a must, so we made it fully collapsible with padded adjustable backpack straps. While most seats are fixed, the SitBax Bleacher seat reclines into a relaxed position. It was almost complete when I thought, what if I could also rotate the seat? So we added a rear swivel feature so you can fully rotate the seat in any direction and view from the best angle. And there we have it, the SitBax bleacher seat. When I received the first model, I was so excited. There was no pressure on my neck, no pressure on my back. I was floating. Finally, a comfy seat. Now we're ready to share it with the world. Whether you're dedicated parents, sports fans, or event goers, you've invested significant time and money into these experiences. Now get ready to sit back and relax.